Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me at benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcast because People of Distinction is a nationally and internationally syndicated show because of listeners like you. Our shows are available across all major podcast distributors as well as YouTube. And if you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. We appreciate the support. Continue to like and follow and sit back and strap in because on the line with us today, we have P. John Judice. And we're going to be discussing his book, The Book That Saved the World. Exposes the biggest spiritual secret kept from mankind. Available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and a whole host of other places. You're going to want to head on over there, pick up copies of this amazing book, and get lost in everything it has to offer. Now, quickly, I want to point out the fact that John was brought to our network by one of the best publishing firms in the business. People you already know. I'm talking about Author Reputation Press. So if you're a writer out there, you've gone through your process, and now you need help moving the masterpiece you just developed, look no further than ARP, because this is exactly what they specialize in, people. You're going to want to head on over to authorreputationpress.com and gather all the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. And listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have John here on the line. People, his book, The Book That Saved the World, is going to offer so much insight, okay? It's an informative narrative about the power of the soul and how to manifest the life that you desire. There is a lot happening here, and this is a wonderful guide that's going to be able to help you capture what you've been looking for. Its condensed format makes it accessible, makes it a breeze to read, but it also packs a punch with a lot of great pieces of information that you're going to be able to take and implement. And listen, at the end of the day, John is the man of the hour, so let's bring him here with us. First and foremost, John, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today, sir?
My pleasure being here. Fine, thank you.
Fantastic. John, listen, we're thoroughly looking forward to this, man. I think what you've done here is going to help a lot of people who choose to take advantage of it. Now, first and foremost, before we go into your book, start off by telling us a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Okay. I was extremely successful, in the business world. Now, keep in mind, first I was an average student in high school, My parents sent me to college. I lasted 1 year, went in the Navy, and yet I still shall we say, began believing in myself. Something happened that one morning, something happened. I was washing the car on a Sunday. I was a car salesman back when I was 22 years old. I was married with a 7-month-old child, and my gut feeling said that she was dying in her crib. So I dropped everything, run to the crib, and found that she was sleeping like a baby. So I walked outside quietly, and when I came outside, I yelled and screamed "How can you do that to me? You SOB! How can you scare the living daylights out of me?" And I began to realize that I had no control over my thoughts. And I said, whoa, this has to stop. So I started being alert with these negative thoughts coming in, and I found myself walking, saying, no, throwing them out. So what happened? All of a sudden, I began to believe in myself to the point that I became top car salesman in a month. And in less than 6 months, I was promoted to sales manager. Now, when I was a sales manager, I told people how to sell cars, but I added to get them to believe in themselves, remove the negative thoughts. Okay. By the time I was 32, I was so successful training for car dealers all over the United States that I raised enough capital to buy my own new car dealership at 32. I was the youngest Pontiac car dealer in the United States. Why? Because I learned to believe in myself that I am more than just a physical piece of meat, that I have an inner spirit that is guiding me through my life here on earth.
Let's now jump into this book, okay? Because we understand clearly by what you're talking about, you figured out the answer to the equation, right? So now let's talk about this amazing book, the book that saved the world. Tell us a little bit more about it and what inspired you to write it.
Well, okay, to finish off, a month after I bought the dealership, okay, again, I was 32 years old, I sat in my desk and I had a gut feeling again. This gut feeling said, write a TV commercial for Pontiac Man. Now, when I got that gut feeling, I said to myself, what the hell do I know about writing a TV? I don't know anything about that. But sure enough, the next morning, it was Saturday, I found myself in my kitchen writing this TV commercial. Not only did I write it, I produced it. Look, up in the sky, it's a sunbird, it's a firebird, it's Pontiac Man who came to earth far beyond the ordinary car deal, who disguised as John Judice, my man of Sunshine Pontiac, fights another ending battle for low prices. Wow, that was an outrageous success. Okay, to the point that the following year I bought the franchise called Saab and brought it in. And then a few years later, I was going to buy Honda. But before I did that, I had a third gut feeling. My gut feeling came to me and said, take your training nationally. I said, what? Take your training nationally. So I founded a company called Global Sales Training. 24 years later, we trained had 9 offices. We trained over 150,000 people for 3,500 clients, which was Sears, AT&T, because not only did I teach how to sell cars, and a few years later, I swung into how to teach, period. Say how to teach. We had jewelry companies, we had Sears, we got washer dryers, Jefferson. So we taught them how to do that. Their first year without training, they earned between $35,000 to $65,000 a year. They had, when I did a research, 5% went to college of the people we trained, 37 finished high school, 54 or 64 never finished high school, and yet we managed to get them to believe in themselves, and they were earning $35,000, $65,000 a year. I was rated the second largest sales training company in America. Okay, now all these years, I retired with the business I had was in New Jersey. I came back to my home, which is Florida, Miami. And I retired, but I did not retire. I was buying buildings and everything else. But all of a sudden, my gut feeling tells me again, write your book nationally now. I said, write a book nationally? Really? Write a book? Okay. So I started writing this book. And I was in my 70s. But then when I finished, as soon as I finished, I put it in the drawer and I forgot about it. 2 or 3 years later, a gut feeling said, hey, stupid, get it out of the drawer and do something about it. So I'm here doing something about it. Okay? And that's what I'm doing. It doesn't have to me, as I explained to you before, I'm not doing this for financial. Mm-hmm. I'm doing it. In fact, I told you I'd give them 75% away. I'm doing because 8 months ago, as I told you a few minutes ago, I noticed we're so freaking negative. And I said, oh my God, how come we be so negative? We want to kill each other, beat the horn, and you name it. So I said, I wonder if I can do anything about it. So I did. I spent almost 2 months in the library, searching. What the hell is going on to mankind? And it dawned on me, thoughts for mankind, people think, okay, what do they think? How did they get negative? And I found out 45 thoughts a minute, the average person. And then it also tells me the majority, and I use about 60 or 75% of people think negative. Then I looked up what is negative thoughts. Oh, shit, I got to get up. Oh, look at that idiot cut me off. Look at this happening to me. Oh, I don't want to live anymore. All these negative thoughts people have without opening their mouth. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I took those negative thoughts and I said, okay, 45 thoughts a minute, multiply that by 60 minutes for an hour. Came out to 2,700. And I said, holy mackerel. And then multiply that by 24 hours. Wow, 64,700 thoughts we have a day. That's why we're so freaking negative in our world. So I started looking and researching, is there anything this poor little Italian boy from New Jersey or from Miami, can he help? And because I've been meditating, talking to the big guy for over 40 years, when I close my eyes, I allow my inner spirit to guide me. That's what's written in the book, How to Get Your Inner Spirit Active. And when it guides me, I do what it says, and wow, fantastic. Turns the tables around, especially when all I want to do is help mankind. I don't want to do anything else but help the people stop being negative. And what a perfect timing I have, because Trump just took over. I love the guy. And he's trying to turn the United States around. And I think if I can approach him early next year, or approach his staff or what have you, that we can add helping people stop being negative, I think the book will go apeshit. In fact, it might not even go public. It might go into the government manuals to train people at school, high schools, junior high, what have you. That's what I'm counting on. If we're going to do something, let's do it big. Mm-hmm. Turn America around and turn the people's, stop them from being negative and being positive. The first book also teaches people, which is also in the second book, that you're born, your soul, that is created by, that was created by the Creator, our Creator, was able to, when you come here to Earth, your soul changes your physical form and turns it into an inner spirit, because an inner spirit enters your physical form as a child, activates your senses, smell, touch, hear, hardened senses, and activates your brain to teach, to record, smell, touch, taste, and hear, all that here. So once your soul enters your body, I've learned all these things here, that we are a lot more than a piece of meat. We're filled, you were born, 95% of the people in the world do not realize that the spirit is highly intelligent. Okay? It has the power to conceive. That means create anything you want. It also maintains all your past reincarnation, all your past lives. It stores away all your knowledge and achievements from them in case you want to use it in today's world. So the average person is packed with so much that it is fair. But 95% of the world does not know anything of what I'm telling you. Okay, library. All this information I'm getting from the library. Okay, so my job as an author is to wake up America and say, hey, people, you sure as hell more than what you think you are. You are more. Your inner spirit is more. You're highly intelligent. But you see what happened in the 1940s after World War II. Roosevelt took all the veterans that came in the United States and gave them free college education. They went in, they didn't care what college they picked out. Okay? And all of a sudden, college was the big thing, and the teachers in high school, public schools, did not teach what they teach in college. And the first thing, they were overpacked. The average teacher back in the 40s, 50s had 30 to 40 students in their class. And she taught the basics for the students, and she stopped all the kids from dreaming and using their imagination. We later found out, in research, I found out that the word imagination was given to us around 4,000 to 5,000 years ago, thousands of years ago. It is the accumulation of your inner spirit, of all your reincarnations, all your knowledge from other worlds that you had in you. It was given a name called imagination. That's your library. But how do people in the United States at 2024, that time, they don't know diddly shit, excuse the expression. So all I'm trying to do is say in my book to people, hey, you are a hell of a lot more than what you think you are. And my book will explain to you easily that your soul brought you in as an inner spirit so you can enter the physical form, okay? That hospitals already know that your spirit enters. They've been taking pictures throughout the world. Okay? Like, no. That you're using your mind, using that you were born with a spirit and an inner spirit, okay? I had the pleasure many years ago of meeting a Swami. A Swami is a Hindu priest, just like the rank of, we call the Pope, Catholic, the Pope. That's where he ranks in the Hindu spirit. I had an audience with him. He was asked to come to the University of Miami, the medical group. He had 250 doctors waiting for him to speak. A couple of days before, I had an audience. I asked him three things. Well, I asked him one thing. What is death? When you die, that's it, nothing else? And he smiled, and he says, the second you die, you go through a portal, and when you come out, you're totally conscious, wide awake, okay? The only difference, you don't have a physical form. You're also just exploding with love. Everything you smell, everything you touch, everything you hear, taste, it's filled with love. And lastly, you regain the power to conceive. Whatever you want, all you do, the second you think about it, it's there. Because you're on the other side. He said that when you reach us, we give it a name here. We call it heaven. Okay, so when you're in heaven, you want to see Johnny that died. Let's say you would automobile accident with two people. He died first. And now you crossed over the death and you say, oh, I want to see Johnny. He's there. Hey, let's go have a beer. And we go to a bar. Let me show you my house. And you have it. That is why we gave that place a name, heaven. But the Swami also told me that many times the inner spirit is bored in heaven because everything they want is done. So they want to come into an imperfect world we call Earth. Imperfect world. And there you will experience what? Hate, failures, whatever we experience on Earth. They come here to change. There are rules from heaven is that they do not carry you don't carry the power of an inner spirit. You don't bring into earth. You're there to experience failure, hate, love, whatever. So we come here to experience all that. Okay? Because the second question I asked him, I said, why did God allow Hitler to kill 6 million people? And he looked at me and he answered me with a question. He said, are you married? I said, yeah. You have children? I said, yeah. When it rains outside, did you play inside? Yes. Did you play cops and robbers? I said, yes. Okay. Are you concerned? He said, no, they're playing games. And he looked at me and said, the same thing with God. You are there. Earth is that way. That's the playground for us. I said, wow, holy mackerel. He's answering with all these things. So learning all this and having this for 50, 60 years, I believe all of a sudden my inner spirit said to me, hey, stupid, maybe it's time you bring that information and put it in the book. So I did. That's why I wrote the book. And basically in that book, I'm teaching you that you are more than a physical person. You're more than a piece of meat. You're so much more. And all you have to do is learn how to activate the real you. Society has not allowed you to do that. Instead, we are negative.
People, John took the words right out of my mouth, man, because there was a lot that I wanted to cover, and he just went into all of it for us. You know what you got to do now. All right, listen, there is so much left there on the table. We know what the book itself is about. We know that there is another book on the horizon. Your job now is to head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and a whole host of other places. Simply type it into a Google search bar, and you're going to be greeted with all of it. Remember, the one that's available at this moment is called The Book That Saved the World. Exposes the biggest spiritual secret kept from mankind by P. John Judice. While you're at it, check back in frequently for the next one that he's already in the process of constructing. And that one is absolutely going to be a game changer, the same way this one is as well. You know where to go. Head on over there, pick up your copies today, and get lost in it. John, this has been a true pleasure, man. Thank you for the wonderful words of wisdom. Thank you for creating this book. And thank you for being a guest on People of Distinction.
You're welcome.